The Google search algorithm is still suppressing a feature right now that would have broken their monopoly, and the Department of Justice can't stop it. Right now, every search you run passes through a ranking system that buries its own competition. The DOJ took Google to federal court and won. A federal judge declared it an illegal monopoly in August 2024, and the feature that would have ended it is still gone. That feature is called verbatim search. And what Google did to it is in the trial record. In the early 2010s, Google Search had a tool buried in the sidebar. Most users never found it, but it existed. It was called verbatim mode. Turn it on and Google returned results without personalization, without autocorrect, without the behavioral modeling that shaped your results based on who Google thought you were. It was unfiltered. It was transparent. And for a brief window, it gave you a direct line to the open web, the raw index, ranked by relevance alone, not by your identity, not by your browsing history. Google positioned it as a power user feature, an edge case, something for developers running technical queries. That was the cover story. What verbatim mode actually did was expose something Google couldn't afford to let users see regularly. When you ran a search in verbatim mode and then ran the same search in standard mode, the results were different. Not slightly different, structurally different. Standard results pushed Google properties, Google Maps, Google Shopping, Google Flights, YouTube, into positions that organic results used to occupy. Verbatim mode stripped that out. You saw what the algorithm would have returned if Google had no financial stake in the outcome. The DOJ's antitrust trial introduced internal documents showing Google engineers flagged this disparity. They knew the standard index was being shaped by business logic, not search quality. A 2016 internal email, entered into the trial record, described the ranking adjustments as loading the dice. Their own engineers called it that. Verbatim mode made the loaded dice visible. So Google made verbatim mode disappear. Not all at once. That would have been too obvious. Starting around 2013, Google quietly moved it. It left the sidebar. It became a menu option, then a sub-option inside a menu. Then it stopped appearing in search documentation. By the time the DOJ began investigating Google's search dominance, verbatim mode had been deprioritized to the point of functional invisibility, still technically accessible if you knew exactly where to look, but unreachable for 99% of users. The FTC investigated Google in 2012. Staff attorneys reportedly recommended a lawsuit. The commission voted not to file one. Verbatim mode had already been buried by the time anyone in Washington understood what it meant. Here is the mechanism that makes it unstoppable. This is the part nobody reported. Google's search algorithm is not a public utility. It is a trade secret. Under U.S. law, the government cannot compel a private company to restore a feature it chose to discontinue. The DOJ proved Google is an illegal monopoly. Judge Amit Mehta's 286-page ruling said so in plain language, but the ruling did not and legally could not say, bring back verbatim search. Courts can block conduct. They cannot mandate product design. The remedy phase is still underway. DOJ prosecutors are pushing for structural remedies, forcing Google to divest Chrome, to share its search index with competitors, to stop paying Apple $18 billion a year to stay the default engine. Legitimate demands. But none of them restore the one tool that let you see what the algorithm was actually doing beneath the surface. And here's the part that never made the headlines. During the trial, Google's own witnesses confirmed that verbatim mode still exists in the codebase. It was never deleted. It was reclassified as a developer tool and moved out of the consumer interface. The feature that proved the monopoly is still there. Google chose not to show it to you, and it's still running. Think about what that means for every search you've run in the past decade. Every time you looked up a symptom, a competitor's product, a news story, a local business, you got the version Google decided you should see. Not the open web, not the ranked index. The monetized, personalized, Google property-boosted version of the internet. The NavBoost ranking signal, revealed during the DOJ trial, weighted results based on your prior click behavior. Sites you had visited before ranked higher. which means Google's index learned your habits and reflected them back at you. That is not search. That is a feedback loop designed to keep you inside Google's ecosystem. Your searches are not returning the web. They are returning a model of you, filtered through Google's revenue priorities. The Verbatim index, the one that showed you something different, is still in their code base. They just will not surface it, and it's still running. So who benefits from keeping Verbatim mode invisible? Google made $228 billion in search ad revenue last year. Every percentage point of organic visibility shifted toward a Google property is a percentage point competitors cannot buy. The DOJ knows this. The judge ruled on it. And the feature that proved it is sitting in Google's code base right now, hidden from the 2 billion people who search every single day. Why won't they turn it back on?